Are you a first-time home buyer, or maybe just a buyer who's been sitting on the sidelines over the last couple of years, knowing just how crazy the market has been? But now you're hearing things have shifted, you're ready to hop in, but you're just not sure of the process to go from start to finish to buy a home right here in the state of Maine. Stick around, we're going to get into that today. Hello Central Maine, it is your realtor Nick Isgro with eXp Realty, and as I just stated at the beginning, today I'm just going to do a quick video, just kind of down and dirty, start to finish. What are the steps that you want to go through in order to guide you through that home buying process so you can anticipate exactly the process that you're going to get into. Now, before I get into that, I do want to welcome you here to the channel. If you've never been here before, we cover all things real estate here in the state of Maine, but particularly right here in the Central Maine market. If that's of interest to you or adds value to your process in the buying and selling of homes, do me a favor, go ahead and hit the like button on this video, hit subscribe, knock that little alarm bell. You'll be notified every time we put out new content. All right, now jumping right in here, the first step that I want to go through as far as buying a home here in the state of Maine, it's actually two steps, but I'm not going to necessarily prioritize them into one or two because it's going to depend on you, your specific situation, your specific contacts, who you already may or may not know, and that is get a real estate agent and find a quality lender and get pre-qualified for your mortgage. So why would I not prioritize those? Well, some of you might already be working with a lender. A lot of times people will go to a lender, they'll get their pre-qualification, they kind of already, dotted their I's, crossed their T's, they know what they're qualified for, and then they're gonna head out and find the agent of their choice. On the other hand, there was a lot of people who will just want to look at a property. That's how they get in touch with us. And then we kind of start down that home buying road. If that's the case, talk to the real estate agent first, because oftentimes we work with many different lenders who work better or worse in different scenarios. Whatever situation you might personally be in, your real estate agent might have just the right lender for you to speak to. I always recommend going to at least a couple oftentimes, but you want to make sure you're getting the right team of professionals. And as real estate agents, we work with insurance agents, we work with mortgage lenders, we work with attorneys and title underwriters. There's all kinds of people who become part of this team. And so if you're not already working with the lender, your real estate professional is going to know exactly who they're going to work well with and who might just be working best for you. That said, if you already have a lender that you enjoy and that you're working with, by all means, move forward with that person, get the pre-qualification letter. Either way, then you know what you're looking for, what your price category is going to be, and you can start getting out there into the next step, which is to look at the homes. Now, when it comes to looking at homes, I always recommend starting with a very wide funnel. Oftentimes, you might think you know exactly what you want. You'll get out there and look at a home, and it just doesn't strike you the way that it did online. Conversely, there's also homes that you may have skipped over in the MLS, but if it fits kind of your basic criteria, we can kind of get that into the funnel, it might just be worth looking at some of those, because some of those you might walk into and say, you know what, there's a lot of things here that I like. If you really are unsure, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, look at several different types of houses, see which feels best for you. That's going to help you immediately narrow that funnel down. Then you can kind of look at the entirety of what's out there, pick your top 4 or 5 homes and go for it. All right, so you found the home that you like, you've told your real estate agent, you're ready to go, you've got your pre-qualification. What's next? Make an offer on the home. So your real estate agent will draft up a purchase and sale agreement. You go through each section and you want to make sure that you understand each and every section of that contract. Every part of that is going to contain really all of the specifics and the contingencies of that specific contract. So make sure you really read it through. Let your real estate professional help you out with some of those parts. But once it looks good, you've got your disclosures, you've got your purchase and sale, and really any other type of forms that that particular real estate agent or their office may or may not need signed or initialed. That package is back to the real estate agent and they are going to get it over to the seller. All right, so congratulations. The seller accepted your offer. They signed the package. You're in escrow. So what's next? Now we enter your contingency period, and here in Maine, there's several major things you want to look for. First is always going to be typically your earnest money deposit. Whatever you agreed to put down for that good faith kind of earnest deposit on the home, typically you're only going to have several days to get that in. So make sure you get it to your agent on time. That way they can verify with the seller, get everything going, make sure that everyone's good there. The next big thing is often going to be, unless you're paying cash, applying for the loan. Now, when you do that, there's going to be a time limit specified in the contract of how many days you have to apply. When you apply, you want to make sure you get a letter from the lender letting you know, hey, congratulations, you've applied. Get that over to the real estate agent, and we'll get that over to the seller as well. Of course, after that, there is the inspection period. Find out how many business days that is. Get your inspections lined up with the agent and get those done and try to work out any contingencies. All right, so now the contingency period's over. We are in the home stretch. What's left? Well, the only major hurdle that you're going to have coming up after that is going to be the appraisal. Now, the appraisal is something that you're going to pay for, typically through the lender. You will own the appraisal when it's done, so you get a copy of the appraisal. And that's just the bank sending the appraiser out there to make sure that the collateral actually has the value that the bank intends for it to have in the event that somehow they have to foreclose on the loan. Of course, that's not going to happen for you. So assuming the appraisal comes in good, it comes in either at value or above value, you're good to go. If it comes in below the value that you're under contract for, I always recommend as a buyer's agent that the first thing you're going to do is try to negotiate that price down. Without making a really lengthy video here on these other things, I will say if that is not an option for you, that's not something the seller wants to do, then there are other tools like appraisal gaps and other financing options that you could discuss with your lender and agent at the time to try to move the ball forward. But for this, we're going to assume that the home appraised, you're moving forward. The only thing left really is the final walkthrough and closing. All right, so what is the final walkthrough? It's exactly what it says, the final walkthrough. You want to do this about 24 to 48 hours prior to closing. Sometimes it can even be the same day. Oftentimes we might go the morning of closing just to take one last glimpse at the house and make sure it is what you thought it was going to be. Because at the end of the day, when you sign the papers, you sign the mortgage documents, you sign the loan, the house is yours, and it is yours kind of as is. And let's say this has happened to people before. You walk in, you're hours before closing, there's a foot of water in the basement. You might hold off on the closing until the sellers get that problem figured out. So you've gone through the final walkthrough. All that's left, sign the documents, get your keys. Congratulations, you're a homeowner. All right, so that is really it, guys. That is the down and dirty, start to finish, how to buy a home, what are the steps here in the state of Maine. A lot of you out there have probably been through this process recently, or maybe you have in the past. What was it like for you? Did you have any unique experiences that you could share? Go ahead and drop a comment below. Of course, if you have questions, drop those in there too. I promise to answer them. And if you are in the market right now and you are looking for a real estate agent to work with, you just want a little advice, you want to see the next direction for you to go, go ahead, grab my information. All of my contacts are linked in the post on this video. Of course, as always, I thank each and every one of you for sticking around to the end of this video. And until the next one, I'll see you next time.